once again in the course of water resource engineering. In this lecture, we are going to cover the remaining part of the gravity dam. I am Mr. S. Sovule, Assistant Professor, Civil Engineering Department. So far we have seen what is the gravity dam, then advantage, disadvantage, force acting. Along which we have seen the ice up to ice pressure. So moving towards wave pressure over there. So basically, what is the wave pressure? So it is the pressure which is exerted by the waves on the dam. So what is the formula for this wave pressure? That is Pw equals to 2 into W into Hw square. Is the and it acts at a distance of 3 into Hw divided by 8 above the reservoir surface. Above the reservoir surface, remember. This is the height of the wave, that is Hw. Then silt pressure. So according to the IS 6512, the silt pressure and water pressure exist together and in submerged silt. So following recommendation are given by the IS code for the calculation of forces. So what is this PSH and PSV? So this PSH is the horizontal silt pressure and PSV is the vertical silt pressure. So in the wind pressure, it is a minor force acting on the dam which act on the superstructure of the dam. Normally, wind pressure is taken as 1 to 1.5 kilonewton per meter square. Actually, we have learned already how to calculate these wind pressure and all these things according to IS 875 1987 part 3. So all these things regarding wind has been given over there. So how to calculate the basic wind speed and in what area what is the basic wind speed, then how to calculate the wind pressure, and then coming towards the pressure force due to wind. So all these things has been given. So accordingly we can take the forces or the pressure on the superstructure of the dam. The combination of loading for the design. So what IS recommends, that is IS 6512. So gravity dam design shall be based on the most adverse conditions, that is A, B, C, D, E, F and G. So what is the stage A? That is construction condition. Then B is the normal operating condition. C is the flood discharge condition, and the other load combinations such as D, E, F and G. So what is this A? So dam is completed but no water in reservoir and no tailwater is there. This is the construction stage. Then B, that is what normal operating condition, full reservoir elevation or at the top of the gate of the crust, normal dry weather tailwater, normal uplift ice and silt if applicable. Now the load combination C, the flood discharge condition, reservoir is maximum flood pool elevation, all gates open, tail water is flood elevation, then normal uplift and silt if applicable. Then load combination D, that is combination A with the earthquake. Load combination E, that is combination B with the earthquake and no ice. The load combination F, that is combination C with the extreme uplift, that is drainage inoperative. And load combination D, combination E but with the extreme uplift. So all these are combination uh, for the as per the IS 6512. Now, what are the causes of the failure of the dam? So, first is the overturning, second is sliding, third is compression or crushing, and fourth is the tension. So, overturning failure. The overturning failure of the dam takes place when the resultant force at any section cuts the base of the dam downstream of the toe. So, the factor of safety for this considered should not be less than 1.5. So, this is basically the writing movement or divided by overturning movement. These are the factor of safety. Then sliding failure. The beam will fail in sliding at its base or at any other level if the horizontal forces causing the sliding are more than the resistance available at that level. So the sliding factor is there, that is SF, which is sigma h divided by sigma into V into U, and factor of safety against sliding, that is mu divided by tan theta, that is again further modification. For the low gravity dam, factor of safety against sliding should be greater than 1, and coefficient of friction varies from mu varies from the 0.65 to 75. Then for large gravity dam, the shear strength of the joint should be also considered for the economical design. So these are the loading condition and these are the factor of safety against sliding. Now the compression or crushing. The maximum compressive stress occur at toe, and for safety this should not be greater than the allowable compressive stress of the foundation material. So basically it is the concrete. So the formula has been given over here, and basically this is where that compression is more. That's why it should not go beyond uh, the compressive stress capacity of the particular material. Now the tension failure. If the eccentricity, that is equals to B divided by 6, then tension will be developed at the heel of the dam. Actually, this thing we have learned in the strength of material in eccentric loading. So when the tension has been developed and when the full system is in compression, and that can be worked out. So since concrete cannot resist tension, no tension is permitted at any point of the dam under any circumstances. Now the elementary profile of the gravity dam. So this is the elementary profile of the gravity dam. So no any other force except the force due to water, such as weight of the dam and water and uplift pressure. The same shape of the hydrostatic pressure distribution diagram, E is equal to P by 6. So this is elementary profile of the dam. That is, the water pressure is there. So this static criterion, that is B is equal to H divided by rho minus C, where B is the base of the width, height is of the dam, H is the rho is the specific gravity of material, C is the uplift pressure intensity coefficient, and this is the slide criterion. Only two pressure has been considered. This is the triangular shape because of the water profile, and this is the again triangular, which is the uplift force. Now the practical profile of gravity dam. Practical profile has provision of roadway at top, addition load due to roadway and freeboard. Then the resultant force of the weight of the dam and water pressure falls outside the middle third of the base of the dam and causes tension at upstream when the reservoir is full. To eliminate the tension, some masonry is to provide at the upstream side. So this is the practical profile of gravity dam. So this force has been increased over here and this thing has been added over here. A freeboard. Freeboard is a margin provided between top of the dam and high flood level in the reservoir to prevent the splashing of the waves over the non-overflow of the dam. So basically freeboard is uh, the 3 by 2 into HW, where HW is the wave pressure. So the modern practice is to provide the maximum freeboard equal to 3 to 4% of the height of the dam, and it should not be less than 1 meter in any case. And the top width of the dam equals to 14% of the height of the water level. So these are some basic criteria. Now the drainage and inspection galleries. So every dam requires the inspection from the inside. So we have to provide the inspection galleries and sometimes the drainage galleries. So, so the dam galleries are formed as a concrete placed, and its size depend on the function of the gallery and also upon the size of the dam. So the certain shapes had shown over here, that is oval and rectangular shape. The provision of the gallery in the dam body changes the normal pattern of the stresses in the body of the dam. Stress concentration may therefore occur at corners, and hence in order to minimize this concentrated or stress concentration, the corners must be rounded smoothly. The tension and compression zones may be worked out and proper reinforcements etc. are provided to counteract them. So basically, the foundation galleries or the uh, uh, these inspection galleries are there. So foundation galleries are provided in a dam to serve one particular purpose more than more than one purpose. For example, the gallery can be provided near the rock foundation, serve drain of the water which percolates through the foundation. As gallery is called as a foundation gallery or a drainage gallery. It runs longitudinally and it is quite near to the upstream face of the dam. The size of this varies from the 1.5 by 2.2 to 1.8 by 2.4 meter. The drain holes are drilled from the floor of this gallery after the foundation grouting has been completed. Seepage is collected through these drain holes. The size of the gallery should be sufficient to accommodate at least a drilling machine. Besides draining of the seepage water, it may be helpful for drilling and grouting of the foundation. When this can be done from the cannot be done from the surface of the dam. Then second is the inspection gallery. The water which seeps through the body of the dam is collected by means of the system of galleries provided at various elevation, say at the height of 15 meter or so, and those are interconnected by vertical shafts, etc. All these galleries, besides draining of the seepage water, serve the inspection purpose. They provide the access to the interior of the dam and are therefore called inspection galleries. However, galleries of the dam are seldom provided for purely inspection purpose. They, they generally serve other purpose along with this purpose, that is the main functional are as they intercept and drain off the water seeping through the dam body. They provide the access of the dam interior for observing and controlling the behavior of the dam. They provide the enough space to carrying pipes and during the artificial cooling of the concrete. They provide access of grouting in contraction joint when this cannot be done from the face of the dam. They provide access to all outlets and spillway gates, walls, etc. by housing their electrical and mechanical controls. All these gates, walls can hence easily controlled by the main from the inside of the dam itself. They provide the space for drilling and grouting of the foundation, and then it cannot be done from when it cannot be done from the surface of the dam. Generally, the foundation gallery is used for this purpose. The foundation gallery is generally different named from the inspection galleries, although strictly speaking, it can be also used for inspection purpose and may be called as a inspection gallery also. So this is all about the drainage and inspection galleries. So this is for the today's lecture. Thank you.